ascorbic acid, iron, oxidized different organic substrates. I think those are the targets. Well, this reaction was debated a long time, and later on it was suggested that this reaction was occurring in vivo, and that this was the responsibility for cancer, aging, and all the diseases associated, making these free radicals which then cause cellular death. So if we have iron 2 plus peroxide, not necessarily iron 3, you generate either hydroxyl radical, an iron 3, or an iron 4 or barilyl complex here. Either one of those are very powerful oxides, and they can oxidize DNA and lipid and some of the other things. It turns out is that whatever the ligands that are around this species here, whether it's EDTA or something like a fluorine sulfur, determines whether or not it has more hydroxyl radical production or more iron oxide production. And that's really important because hydroxyl radicals tend to be a little more powerful than the iron oxides. The iron oxide species also tends to be much more specific. Oh, by the way, these could be copper, nickel, cobalt, manganese. A lot of these metals will react with peroxide. So heme complexes, this is like your hemoglobin, right? So the chemistry of hemes. So you have redox, as Terry was talking about, a lot of redox molecules react with heme complexes. The fact is the reactions are generally almost controlled with medication. Oxygen will react with ferrous iron, CO, hydrogen peroxide, superoxide, NO, and HNO. All these will bind to a heme center. And that has different ramifications. In the case of hemoglobin, myoglobin, with oxygen, CO combined to block it, as Terry talked about earlier. The peroxidases, we'll talk about that in the second lecture, I think that's in 2 weeks, about the chemistry of the peroxidases, which is very important in handling hydrogen peroxide. Cysteine in the actual ligand here is what the P450 is in nitroconcentrate synthase. And by changing this actual ligand, you can change different properties of this iron here. And tyrosine here is catalase, which actually is a major consumptive pathway for hydrogen peroxide in the cell. So peroxidase activity comes. And so basically the chemistry of this is where we have an iron-free complex. This will be myeloperoxidase, things that are secreted by the neutrophils. And they'll secrete them out. And the reason that they want to do that is they want to generate these reactive species to essentially sterilize the environment. So these reactions form what they call compound 1, which is this iron 5 porphyrin, or the iron 4 iron radical more correctly. That's the chemical term where the radical is really out on the porphyrin rather than all on the metal center. And so they can form a substrate resistance to compound 2, which is an iron 4, and that can be turned back to another substrate oxidation to the negative state iron 2. This iron 2 can be reduced to iron, so iron 3 can be reduced to iron 2, substrate oxidize that to iron 2, and then back to iron 3. So there's several ways that we can do this. We can either reduce here to the iron 2, go this way to the iron 4, or we can form the iron, the iron radical to iron 4 back into the substrate. And myeloperoxidase and the halobromo hydroperoxidase, these are classic examples of these type of peroxidases. Another one thing substrate is nitrite, and nitrite can be actually oxidized to NO2. Why is that important? Well, these are only pathogens like tuberculosis, tuberculosis, TB. NO2, we don't know why, but NO2 is a very powerful toxin to TB. And so the formation of nitrite into acidic nitrite, which we'll talk about a little later about, the formation of NO2 in these peroxidases can actually form an anti-pathogen response. So go back and talk about the classic copper-vice chemistry. If you have superoxide gains a loose electron, or if you gain an electron, you get hydrogen peroxide. So in the case of the Haber-Weiss cycle here, we have iron 2 plus peroxide, and that can make hydroxyl radical. Hydroxyl radical doesn't just sit around. It finds a near substrate like hydrogen peroxide. It regenerates superoxide. Why that's important is because superoxide can be reduced to iron 2, and then the iron 2 can react again with hydrogen peroxide here. So you have this cycle here, interlinking cycle here, which actually then can facilitate the catalytic production of things like hydroxyl radical. This is what we think leads to a lot of radical reactions in the biological system to get out of control, leading to cell death. Again, we mentioned dismutation early on. Cystic peroxide to oxidated H2O2. This is a pH-dependent mechanism. And even though this is a fairly fast reaction, Mother Nature has, actually developed enzymes, these are the superoxide dismutases, which actually does this catalyzes this reaction to almost diffusion control. And it looks like the copper, which is copper goes to copper plus 1, the second superoxide comes in, it oxidizes to hydrogen peroxide plus copper plus 2. And this is very important because there are several key SODs. The first one is copper zinc SOD. We'll talk a little bit about that again in the next lecture. That's mostly in the cytoplasm. That controls the superoxide formation in the cytoplasm. The manganese SOD is actually one of the more interesting ones because it controls the superoxide production and the electron flux inside the mitochondria. And there are a lot of interesting papers that show that having high and low manganese SOD controlling the mitochondria has a lot of effects on metabolism. It also has a lot of effects on cell proliferation. So it's more than just scavenging radicals, it's actually sucking electrons to different places. Superoxides can also react with connotation. Again, this is important because the connotation being part of the GCA cycle, Krebs cycle, to be inactivated by superoxide. By scavenging superoxide, you can prevent the Haber-Weiss cycling, so you don't have this out-of-control looping effect. And it also prevents NO scavenging. And that's actually one of the most important things about the interaction with superoxide NO peroxide. The inability of formation of this, which we will talk about later on in the lecture here, but it's actually taking the time, superoxide goes to ROS and takes NO from the signal consumption pathway with one cycling. It's actually one of the more important things that it does. We talked about the hydroxyl radical. One of the things that's really important is how do we detect this? And this is one of the, I'll tell you, this is a really difficult thing. You'll read it in many books saying ROS dies, DCS, F. I mean, everybody uses it. But dies just generally tell you about the oxidative state of the cell. It doesn't really tell you the nature of what's happening there. And some of the ways that people have done it spin graph is a very clever mechanism. Howie Robin in Wisconsin did a lot of his work here. If you're interested in ESR, you just go look at his overall systems work. Trapping in a test tube with benzoic acid and salicylic acid, the hydroxylated products, is another way of detecting ROS. The dyes can be complicated, and they don't always work. It looks like once in a while. Why does this dye work, or why doesn't that dye work? Well, they're complicated chemistries and complicated biological systems, so you have to be a little careful. You have to be very careful in this control. So we're talking about DNA oxidation. We have cancer, and we're concerned about oxidation of DNA. There's the oxidation by many species, such as the ROS, that oxidation of ribose, which leaches membranes, oxidation of the bases, which can lead to base oxidation, cross-reaction, and deamination. If we look at the proteins, where the oxidative damage of the protein. This is methionine. Terry mentioned methionine. Methionine is a really good antioxidant for ROS because it can actually bind the sulfoxide here. It can also react in a radical mechanism here to form methionine sulfide. Cysteine. If you take, one of the things about reactive species chemically is if you take glutathione out of the cell. Anybody ever done that? Well, if you want something fun, if you're looking at the cells and you take the glutathione out with DSL, the cells are simply very unhappy. Because the glutathione is really critical in managing the ROS and the reactive species in the compartments of the cell. So the glutathione is really your frontline mechanism here. And when you have thiols here, and you form this radical here from things like hydroxyl radical, there's a series of reactions these thiol radicals will undergo. One is, of course, dimerization here, to generate a superoxide RRS, or it can react with oxygen to form this peroxide species here. That can fall apart to other species here, such as the sulfoxides here, or it can form sulfuric acid here and go back to RRS. And this variety of chemistry becomes very complex. There's another reason why biological systems don't like radical chemistry. It's complicated and uncontrollable. Lipid peroxidation. This is one of the classic mechanisms of cell death. You have an initiation by iron oxide, a hydroxyl radical. You form this radical here. The radical reacts very rapidly here with oxygen to form these peroxides. The peroxide species then can react with hydrogen here, forming another radical here, which reacts with oxygen again. But you have this hydroperoxide, which reacts with metal to form these alkoxide radicals, which come back and start oxidizing these again. And so one oxidant up here leads to a series of lipid oxidations, numerous propagation of lipid peroxidation. And this is one of the ways they think, which has been proposed, of cell death with ROS. This is just sort of examples. I put this here of good and bad. Lipid peroxidation here in the membrane. In the membrane, you can actually perpetuate these type of lipid oxidation and destroy the membranes. However, lipid oxidation is not always a bad thing. The P450s and the cyclooxygenates, the reason we take Advil or I take diclofenac, is to actually prevent all these products here. And the prostaglandins and leukotrienes, which are actually very powerful signaling agents both in the cardiovascular and the immune system, actually rely on lipid peroxidation. But the difference is that those enzymes control the lipid peroxidation within the confines of protein, where when we have the membrane, it's not. It's sort of running down and destroying the membrane in a cyclic manner. So tyrosine oxidation here. A lot of times you get tyrosine products. In the old days, it was looking for tyrosine radicals here. You can form nitrotyrosine or you can hydroxylate this. Many proteins can modify this. Proline plus iron oxidase species. This is the hit. This is what Terry was describing. The chemistry is the prolohydroxylases are key, and for cancer people, we're just talking about in terms of HIT, or IKK beta. So it regulates also the NF-kappa B system. But if you go back, you use ascorbic acid, and we all remember what scurvy is, right? You have enough vitamin C, you have scurvy. And scurvy, this enzyme here is also critical in hardening the collagen, increasing its melting point. So this enzyme here, even though it's doing sort of the same oxidation, has very key functions, both in signal transduction and also the health of the cell and tissue. Earl Statman founded this. The famous Earl Statman, who was in this building and also building 3, the Statman. Statman Fellows are actually named after him. I actually knew him. He was a very famous oxidative stress guy. But he actually showed these carbonyl formations in the proteins as evidence that there's oxidative stress in the cell. Sulfur oxidation, I think we've done that. Oh, we have double speed. That one comes to my favorite. I can tell you stories about this. This is actually more fun. But anyways, nitric oxide. Nitric oxide, I will say, we started studying this when it first came out in 1989. I know, God, that sounds so ancient. Boy, last year, the first time we started, it was so brand new. Now it's so ancient history. They gave a Nobel Prize out for discovering why nitric oxide, this radical species, actually regulates your blood vessels. So, Lou and Darrell, Kurt Scott, sorry, she's French. Yes. They got the Nobel Prize in 1998, and they got it because nitric oxide here, and a lot of chemistry, we'll talk a little bit about the chemistry, found a machine called one-way cyclist. First showed that initially, which was kind of curious, but as Bob First got it, noticed that there was a substance they couldn't identify. It wasn't the endothelial cells, and that was the muscle cells. And he couldn't figure it out. And Lou and Darrell, when very skilled, he was studying solids with one-way cycles, said, I bet it's NO. So he actually did some experiments showing that it was actually NO. He actually detected NO for the first time. Shabbat Makai also came in and showed the same thing. And this field is actually now, I think there's 170,000 citations, or 170,000 papers in this field. ROS is about 200,000. So if you just take those two fields and you compare that to the Kinome, right, or phosphorylation, which is about 300,000, this is a much bigger field. So what is the redox chemistry? Let's talk about the simple molecule. We all studied disinfectant chemistry. We all had to draw the diagram where the radical goes. I think we did. You guys still do that? I don't know, but the chemistry they don't teach the same as they used to. But anyways, NO's a free radical. So again, you can lose an electron, you can oxidize the magnesium ion, but that's a lot of energy. It takes a volt to do it. And you can reduce it. But nitric oxide takes a lot to reduce this. And this nitrosyl here, we'll talk a little bit about this. That means it's very hard in mammalian biological systems, not just bacterial, but mammalian systems, for these reactions to happen. So nitric oxide, the chemistry of it, one of its primary functions, because we divide this into how fast reactions go. So you have a small little molecule, you can buy it in a bottle, but it does go away. That's what reacts with oxygen. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you put it in a biological system, it reacts quite fast. So where does it go? Well, the biggest targets are these metals, so the NO can react with metals, such as hemoglobin, but more importantly, one-way cyclase, because every tissue in your body has cyclic DMP, is an NO cyclic DMP. NO can react with radicals on occasion to evade things like lipid peroxidation, so that actually has protective effects. So that's what we call radical-radical coupling. The auto-oxidation, which we started investigating, is the reaction of NO to nitrate. So this is, if you put NO in solution, it's not very stable, right? Put a lot of it in solution, as we'll talk about, it goes away in a few seconds. Actually, it's the thing we'll talk about later, but a micromolar stays around for 30 minutes. So, yeah, that's a really strange reaction. It's just a classic reaction. A lot of this chemistry was studied by T10 people. LA pollution, where Terry was. You remember all this, that kind of, they couldn't get up quite a bit, but in the old days, in the 70s, I remember getting first to California, right? And my friend takes me down to LA, I was in Santa Barbara. We take me to LA, and I wake up in the morning, and I swear to God, I was in New York, right? And you see this like monster coming down the valley, brown drum, just coming at you like this. And it was literally like a brown fog back then. And sometimes you couldn't see your neighbor's house, the NO2 with all this ozone was so bad. It kind of smelled like ozone, too. But that's where a lot of this chemistry got to start, was trying to understand air pollution. So, this reaction, though, has a lot of unique kinetics, and we were really surprised because we couldn't explain a lot of its behavior. Because you have this paradox in biological systems with NO. You've got something that is so toxic that it comes down and, looks like it's going to kill all mammalian life in LA. It doesn't, but it looks like that, right? And then you have this phenomenal thing. If you take NO away from you, in your cardiovasculature, all of a sudden you have every chronic disease on this planet. So it's really important. So how do we understand this dichotomy between NO being unstable in aerobic areas and NO actually being very important in cardiovascular and other cell components? Well, it turns out the basic fundamental chemistry. And in 1970-something, I was taking freshman chemistry. I won't tell you exactly how old I am. But my teacher had actually told me, I'll never forget this day, we're studying third-order reactions, and she said this reaction will never be understood. And she's saying that 2016, with the help of another student 3 years ago, who said, Professor Desmond, was actually understanding now for the first time after 50 years. But in this case here, this third-order reaction here was unique. Because what this said is that when you're at 100 micromolar in the presence of oxygen, the electron is 8 seconds. So because it has a second-order dependency, it's going to dilute the nitric oxide down 1 micromolar to half-life is 800 seconds. So the physiological concentration, as we know, is in the nanomolar range. So if you take NO, the endothelial cell, it won't react with oxygen for an hour. Which, as we know, all these other proteins are sitting there. So at low levels, nitric oxide is a wonderful signaling agent. You see what I mean? So now the macrophage. Now the other part of the NO story was John Hibbs and Steve Tannenbaum, who said, there's this nitric oxide-like species making nitrosamine thing, killing bacteria, killing tumors. It turns out that the other part of the NO story is not only regulatory, but the NO story is also pathogenic and anti-tumor. And so when you go to the higher concentrations here, let's say we get it up now 1,000-fold more, maybe 10,000-fold. All of a sudden those species go up astronomically, and that becomes the predominant reaction. So we kind of tried to sort all this out. And in 1998, I was working over Billy Penn, I worked there at Clifton last year. And you talk to a lot of people, physicians and other people, and they said, we really don't want to understand chemistry. One of my first bosses here, Terry Rice, said, I gave my first talk, coming from MIT, talk, the differential equations, kinetics, and he said, you're not allowed to give more than one differential equation per talk. So that's it. My first NIH thing, first on Keaton, right? So anyway, so I kind of made up this, how do we explain this in a qualitative way? So basically, we looked at the chemical biology of NO in direct effects and indirect effects. Direct effects are chemical reactions that are fast enough for NO combined with gene proteins. That's not sulfurs, but gene proteins. Also other radicals. And this explains a lot. It reacts with things like oxyhemoglobin very fast. So NO can't just simply diffuse around the body. Because the hemoglobin actually scatters like a black hole for NO. It can regulate everything inside the tissue, but once it gets into the blood vessel, it's gone. Why don't we try by spot? If we get in an area where we generate, like, macrophage, the mirroring macrophage, humans are different, but we haven't figured out the difference between humans and mirroring systems. But in the mirroring macrophage, we know we generate levels that are above, fluxes above 0.5 micromolar per day, and we do generate a lot of these species here, and including nitrite here, which can be reoxidized to NO2. And these are what we call the indirect effects. The reason we call them indirect is because they're not being mediated directly by nitrous oxide, but in fact by these reactive species here themselves. So, I think I have a couple slides here. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. So, look at the direct reactions. Again, we'll go over. Constellation, this is real life constellation, where NO reacts with iron complex, forms an iron oxide. Of course, the best example of this is soluble boron cyclase. NO can also react with hemoglobin and make methemoglobin nitrate. This is a very good way of controlling the nitric oxide in vivo. It's also a great way to detect it. In fact, there's Louis Naros who discovered it now, why he was given the Nobel Prize. He cleverly used this reaction here to actually detect it in the epithelial cell. Very clever. Also, NO can react. Remember we were talking about the reactive oxygen species? And how powerful they can go and oxidize different species. Well, NO actually reacts with them in a base. So NO antagonizes all ROS. They seem to antagonize each other. So they actually chemically form this. And I can actually, this is the homeostasis of your blood vessel, right? You have, if the NO goes up, you get relaxation, right? But then you get constriction with calcium influx, ROS goes up, then scavenges all the NO, and calcium influx causes constriction. The NO comes back up and causes relaxation, the scavenging of NO and ROS. So if you think about that, if you're in the heart, you're out there running, I can't run anymore, I cycle instead, I tend to be a bad knees. You want that moment to moment, the second to second, the millisecond actual translation of your blood pressure, right? Into different vessels. Neuro, same thing. And one of the ways you can do this is the balance between NO and ROS. When you get imbalances in that, that's when things kind of go out of whack. Atherosclerosis is this chronic favoring of ROS, and then it recruits lymphocytes to the arteries. So, how provides chemistry? So this is a really important thing, I think. And this can apply to any of the peroxidases. You have iron and plus peroxide, we form again this hydroxyl radical, and it can react to diffusion control, form nitrite, which is the basis reaction here. You can form superoxide here. And the superoxide, and it can react with to form peroxide. This was very controversial a long time ago. We'll go over this later. Eventually, forming peroxide, and in our hands, and many other people can, actually is an antioxidant because it's preventing the more powerful oxidants from being generated. It itself is a powerful oxidant, but as we'll talk about later, this is rapidly scavenged also by before nitrates and nitrites. So this is a very powerful antioxidant property. Lipid peroxidation, remember we were saying that lipids can form these oxolipids, lipids with NO, and NO can actually form these peroxide nitro complexes here. Bruce Freeman and co-workers have actually said these nitrogen-modified lipids actually have positive health benefits. Bruce Freeman showed some really powerful effects of nitrolipids. In fact, as I said, he says a lot of the fish oil you get has nitrolipids in it. That's actually the active ingredient, the healthy part. So if you actually form any of these lipid radicals, the reaction with Sarah Goldstein actually measured these a long time ago. These almost 10 to the 9. They're very rapid reactions, and they terminate the lipid peroxidation. So what about the indirect reactions? Where NO can form H2O3, NO2, peroxide nitrite, which can result in nitration and lipid oxidation. And so how does this balance happen? Well, next is safety chemistry. The classic one is N2O3 here. If you remember from your freshman chemistry here, this is your N2O3, the nucleophile will bind to it. And one of the classic is the N2O3 combines to form S-nitrosyl complex here in nitrate. Nitrosamine formation can form the secondary nitrosamine, and this secondary nitrosamine is important. In the 1970s, this reaction was happening in industry, in the beer industry, and they were forming nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are actually notoriously carcinogenic, at least in rodent models. And so it shut down the German beer industry. This was a national crisis because now they found this carcinogen in processing of their hops. But they actually figured it out, and within 6 months the beer industry was back producing nitrosamine-free. So nitrosamines are actually can be very powerful liver carcinogens. Another thing is that H2O3 can react with primary amines, such as those in DNA, like guanine, and it can cause deamination here. And this deamination process here can lead to some types of mutations. Linkosation targets, protein targets. You can anti-trosylate some many different proteins here, such as GAPDH,